Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Fernando. I am a licensed civil engineer in the state of Texas, and I created this channel with the intention of helping current undergraduate students figure out how to grow their careers and also help coach young professionals and trying to figure out what the next steps can be in their career. Today's video is focused on how to find a mentor. If you watched some of my previous videos, I shared a guidebook with you all on the steps that you can take to find a mentor, but what I wanted to do in this video is kind of outline the major points in that guidebook for you guys to get a better understanding of the importance of a mentorship and the importance of finding a mentor. So what I first want to do is kind of outline the differences between a mentor and a coach. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have in pursuing a mentor. They think a mentor is a coach. They can kind of sometimes be the same thing, but they're not the same thing by definition. So what is a coach? A coach is someone who coaches you on trying to figure out what the next steps can be in your growth, right? So I think when we think about a coach, it's simple for us to really grasp the concept. If we think about sports, if you think about a sports coach, you think of someone who tells you when to run sprints, when to do the weight room, when to take your rest, the steps that you can take on getting your lifts higher if you're in the weight room. Again, that's a coach, right? They tell you exactly what needs to happen and also keep you accountable on the steps that you can take. A mentor is someone who has potentially played a sport in high school and tells you, hey, maybe you should try out soccer, maybe you should try out football. Whatever the case is, just pursue a sport. That's a mentor, right? Someone who just encourages you to do something, but don't actually outline the steps that you need to take and being successful in that particular realm, if you will. So again, that's the difference between a mentor and a coach. Now, what are the things to do to find a mentor? Well, you should not send random people emails, whether that be an email or on LinkedIn or on Instagram, with the question, will you be my mentor? That's not the right approach. I think when you ask people the specific question, although it's very intentional and you're being very direct, people get weirded out when they put the word mentor in front of it, right? People feel like the responsibility to be a certain type of person who's there for you no matter what. And I think for the most part, people don't want that responsibility, right? So thing to avoid, number one, is don't send random people, will you be my mentor? I want to share with you all some tips on how to find a mentor, but that's not one of them. Another one is failing to prepare when you do have the time with someone. So if you build a relationship with someone, and now you've been able to get somebody's time, whether that be a 15-minute conversation on through coffee, whether that be a 30-minute conversation through Google Hangouts or Skype or whatever the case is, come up with some key points that you want to talk about. So maybe not like an outline, like specifically like I'm going to ask them this question and then this question and this question, but just more talking points, right? What knowledge, what wisdom can you take from this person through this mentorship, right? So again, that's kind of a tip there, but also a thing to avoid is failing to prepare. That's the important takeaway there. And the other one is ghosting people. Let's say you find a mentor, you find someone who actually gave you the time of day and you build a relationship, but you know what? You guys aren't vibing. You're like, you know what? It's not what I thought it was going to be. This person's not who I thought they were. And you just completely ghost them. Please don't do that, right? You're going to end up burning bridges that you don't want to burn. Because the last thing you want is to ghost that individual and then they go and tell someone else and then they go and tell someone else and now you have a negative personal brand who's associated with somebody who's flaky and you don't want to be that, right? So top 2 things to avoid is don't email random people, don't fail to prepare for those conversations you're going to have, and also ghosting people. Again, top 3 things to avoid. Now, preparation for you to start your journey. Now, what do I mean by that? I want you to think about, when you think about a mentor, what are you trying to get out of this, right? Like, what are you trying to prepare for? So, again, I keep looking at my notes, so I want to make sure I hit all the talking points. Is what are the areas of your life you want growth in, right? If you guys do a simple Google search for life wheel, you're going to find career, you're going to find finances, you're going to find personal hobbies, you're going to find love. Those are all different areas in your life that you can, be intentional and strategic on and building. But maybe you focus on one of them, right? And you're like, you know what? I really want to find a mentor with personal finances, right? Someone who really understands the importance of financial independence. So you start your mentorship journey on finding someone who can help you with finances. Maybe you want to find somebody else who is who's been in a marriage for 20, 30 years, right? Or someone who's been in a long relationship, and you want to maybe take the next step in your relationship with your partner. Maybe you want to get engaged, maybe you want to have kids, but again, you're finding mentorship in someone who has kids and you can learn from. Again, these are the type of things that I want you to think about, is why is it that you want to find a mentor? Because I think a lot of times, like, you want to just find a random person to ask them a bunch of questions and hope that they solve your life. It doesn't work that way, right? So again, steps that you can take in trying to figure out what your journey looks like is ask yourself those questions. Why is it that I'm looking for someone to help me in pursuing and trying to learn from them? Steps that you can take to find someone, identify who you already know, right? Maybe you have a friend whose dad is very successful. Maybe you have a friend whose uncle or aunt is very successful in their business, and you have like an entrepreneurship spirit that you want to go and pursue your own business one day. You know them, so ask your friend, hey, would you mind making an introduction to your tia or your aunt or uncle, whatever, so that I can kind of learn from them and see what I can learn, right? And take the next step in pursuing my entrepreneurial endeavor. Right, because again, if you don't know what you don't know, like I shared with you guys last time in the previous video, but in taking the steps in the direction of finding a mentor, it's important for you to do an audit in the people that you know. And you guys are going to find some of these things are going to be common themes in a lot of the videos that I share with you all. Because again, it goes down to fundamentals. You have to really figure out who's in your network so you can take advantage of those opportunities and take advantage of the fact that you know some people already who can put you in the right direction. Now let's assume that you found a mentor. Let's assume that you did an audit on your family and your friendships, and you found someone who you really vibe with, right? And you guys are clicking. You guys are moving forward and building that relationship. Now what, right? Well, the things to think about is, now you have a mentor. You have to be mindful that you're the ones who ask them for help, right? So what I mean by that is, you have to be intentional in bringing them questions and checking in on them. A mentor's responsibility is not to check on you as a mentee, right? It's the mentee's responsibility to reach out to the mentor on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, whatever relationship you guys end up building, right? Find a cadence for that, but also reach out to them and ask them and say, hey, I know you're busy, but would it be cool with you if we set up a standing meeting for 30 minutes every 2 weeks or once a month? I really want to make sure that I'm checking in on you, but you have to make it easy for them, right? So that's what I mean by that is take ownership of the fact that you build this relationship with them, but also just be intentional with the steps that you want to take in building that relationship. Now, things are going to grow organically, but at the same time, you have to be mindful of the things you want to talk about. Don't just expect them to be able to deliver everything you're looking for, because if you don't tell them what you need, they're going to assume that you just want them to shoot the shit with them, right? And that's important, but again, you have to be intentional with what you're trying to learn from them. Also, be very mindful of the idea of asking for feedback. Now you have built this relationship, you're going to be asking them a bunch of questions, you guys are going to be growing your relationship, but you have to ask for feedback because you want to be able to understand whether or not they're happy with this relationship or if it's just like a burden for them, right? I know it sounds kind of negative, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you know where they're at, because if you are able to better understand where they're coming from and be able to better understand if there's something of value that you can offer them, it's only going to make the relationship a lot better. Please be mindful of the importance of finding a mentor. Mentors are critical in your life. They're critical in your development. I personally have several mentors in different areas of my life, and again, I've been able to put myself in position to learn from them because I've asked the questions, I've built the relationships, I've also done the self-audit, right? I've tried to figure out why is it that I'm trying to find people in these different areas of my life. I think it's, if you really know and you know exactly why you want to find these people, it's going to be easier for you to build these relationships because you're going to be able to be more intentional with the questions that you're asking, and you're also going to be mindful of when to check in with them from the perspective of the relationship that you've built with them, right? So please download the guidebook. You guys are going to find the link in the description down below. There's some additional questions that I want you to ask yourself in your journey in finding a mentor, and also it kind of puts everything into text of the things that we talked about today. So please make sure to subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any questions specific to mentorship or anything in general when it comes to STEM, pursuing a degree in STEM. Hope you guys are well, and take care.